Yeah, what is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of From My Experience podcast. I'm your host, Rob. I'm upset, man. Just had an off mic conversation that I really wish was on mic because I'm not alone. I have my co-host, Ericca.
One day.
Ericca, what's up, Ericca?
Hi, everyone. One day. One day.
Yo, listen, man, you corny. So all my business is in the streets, and we ain't putting none of yours out there. But you know what? I will say
Not
this.
yet.
So I will say this. You know, you do, and this is just anybody who's podcasting or thinking about podcasting. There are unintended consequences for when you put these things out there. Now, granted, I talk about things, and unless you're close to me, you won't know who I'm talking about. But my close friends know who I'm talking about. But you never know if the person's going to listen to that episode. So I will caution you to make sure I try to speak as if they will hear the episode. Unless it's somebody that I know probably will likely never hear it. That's like, you know, from like 15, 20 years ago, they'll probably never hear it. Shout out to Alexis, you know what I'm saying, the 21-year-old I was dating when I was 18. I miss her. I went to college, man. But she was fine. And she played video games. Oh, man. She only like 43, 42. I don't remember her last name. If I remember her last name, I'd find her on social media. But I don't remember. Anyway, I have been doing okay, y'all. Personally, I'm in a bit of a funk. It's weird. We talked about this last episode. My birthday is this coming Sunday. I don't know. I just feel blah. I think part of it is because I have a lot of work to do to get to this next phase in my life, or what I think I want for my life, and I'm just kind of blah. Like, nothing is wrong per se. My blood pressure is a little high. That ain't good. So that's just a diet shift I need to make, and I need to reduce my stress. But other than that, I can't complain. How you be?
Besides the off-air conversation, been feeling great. Been feeling great. You know, hanging in there, ready for the different work week. But yeah.
Besides the off-air conversation. Oh man. All right, Joe. Let me
and we're good. Back to the off-air conversation. We're great now.
Oh, he texts you back?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just got a little sneak preview. I can't expose it, but yeah, we gonna get into some things today, man. We only got 2 topics. They're real life topics and like adult things that, you know, you should think about. And they're things that I'm actually thinking about. I'm in a very weird space, and I'm actually thankful for this weird space because it's giving me thoughts and feelings I never thought I would have at my big age. But we gonna talk about it, you know. And I would love y'all feedback in the comments under this clip, or in the episode, or in the email, or whatever. Man, listen. I can't wait to get into the topics, but Ericca, you ready with today's headlines?
Oh, they're so sad. They're so sad. I only have 2 headlines for you guys right now.
All right, we ready.
So, our condolences to Andre Breuer. I'm so sorry, forgive me if I mispronounce his name. But he passed away yesterday. I remember getting the news alert last night. And he was so young. Still don't know much. But they said it was after a brief illness. And he was 61 years old.
Dang. 61 is so young. And he's been in a lot of stuff, so man. Young. He's a great actor.
Yeah. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, so I was really caught off guard seeing that one in the news yesterday. And then we also have Gene Knight, dies at 80. You know, Mr. Big Stuff.
Yes, she sung Mr. Big Stuff, man. Yeah. I'm sorry to be morbid, y'all.
It's so sad.
I'm scared because it usually happens 3 at a time, and that's only 2. And I'm not trying to speak death on anybody, but that's literally how it goes. If maybe those are the 2. No, Lance Reddick passed a while back. But
and that one took a minute for me because I was like, he's so young. There's so many young people.
Yeah, he had. I think he had something. Though. I forgot what it was, but I didn't want to step on your headlines. Continue.
No.
Peace, prayer, and condolences to the families for your loss.
Yes.
That's it? You ain't got no more headlines?
Yeah. Oh no, that was it. Yes.
Yeah. I just fade the music out. I don't have any headlines. Ugh. All right, y'all. So our first topic, we want to get into this, and I actually had this conversation with a friend. Would you live with friends to save money? Would you be willing to have like a friendship family? And this is what I mean. You know, the economy has shifted. It is more expensive out here than ever. This is the season where companies are actually cutting positions. We're on the other side of COVID. We got an election coming up. There's a war going on. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world impacting our economy. But one of the things that has really just been chopping us in the freaking throat is rent prices and home prices and the interest rates on buying a home. And I was talking to my homegirl who's about to move, and I was like, yo, I like the city you moving to. And I was like, I would do something like that. And I was like, I wish I just had enough friends that were willing to do that. Like if I had 3 or 4 maximum, maybe 3 or 4 good friends, we get like a 4-bedroom apartment, or we rent out a big old house, and we all just like come up with a game plan, and we all save, and we could help each other. Because then, you know, rent will only be like $300-400 a piece, maybe $500 a piece on top of utilities. That puts you in a position to save, and you know, you can do whatever you want a year from then or whatnot. But what do you think about that concept? And I'm going to ask you because you're of a younger generation. I've had multiple housemates before, so I've kind of been there. But except for one situation, it really didn't work out well. But what do you think about that? You know, you being of a different generation.
Well, I'm definitely on the side where you live and have roommates, because it's a lot for you to live by yourself with the height of inflation where it is right now. Yeah. And especially like just trying to get your own footing and everything. And because everything and the price of living is just so expensive, but you also don't want to limit yourself by being back at home with your family.
Yeah.
You want to be able to do adult things. You want to be able to feel like you're out on your own without feeling as if you're still a child in some sense. So I definitely agree with it. I know that if I lived with my friends, we probably would fight all day long. It's just our personalities. Only because I just know that that's probably what would happen, because you have so many different people who like things done a certain way.
Yeah.
And everyone likes their own type of space. However, I wish that I did have a group of people who wanted to move in and get a house or anything like that. I would have been 10 toes down on that whole ordeal.
Yeah, I think I might do that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of squashes what I said last episode with dating, because, I mean, especially at my age, I'll be 39. I don't know too many mid-30, early 40-year-old women who'll look at that and be like, like, I can feel the noses being turned up at me. But I really don't care, because it's all about game planning, you know.
And you're saving money.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, sacrificing a year or 2 of what you think is all awesome and spectacular and just buckling down and saving can literally change your life. And I mean, the biggest temptation that I typically have is Black Friday. It punched me in the face this year. It did, but not too bad. It did. I mean, look, y'all, I got flat feet, and Converse are one of the few shoes that are comfortable for me, and they were 50% off.
Talk about it.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Like, ever. So yeah, I need that for my foots. But I'm thinking about doing it just because, one, through my journey of life, I've learned that the opinion of others don't matter unless there's someone I'm doing business with or someone whose opinion I actually value, right?
Mm-hmm.
And saving money is vitally important. And the higher your expenses, the less you can save. And, you know, what I want to do, my plan is 1000%. I'm going to move, probably going to end up moving around this time next year, depending on what happens in the next 6 months. And I want to get a house. I'll probably likely, depending on where I move to, I'll likely be able to get a house. But I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to start with, you know, some close friends, frat brothers, and be like, yo, anyone trying to hit the reset button, anybody try to save some money, I got a room for rent, you know, hit me up $300-400 a month, you good. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a year or two. We can game plan. I can help you get your stuff together. We can brainstorm or whatever you're trying to do, and then you can be out. Because other cultures do that, especially the Hispanic culture. Like, as a teacher, like, some of my kids had the same address, like, and you had two families in one household. And yes, it's sometimes they were packed like sardines, but everybody woke up and went to work every day. And so when you make that sacrifice, you can save up. Now, like you said earlier, it's got to be the right people with the right mentality. It can't be just any old body. Like, I done had I've lived with a few people, and a few people have lived with me. And you're right, that conflict is can be very big. And I know some of my habits. Like, I live with my mom now, and one of the things I try to make sure I do, my mom's a neat freak. So I make sure I bought a Swiffer, and I make sure I try to Swiffer at least every weekend or every other weekend. Or if my mom asks me to do something, I try to stop whatever it is I'm doing and do it right then. That's how I eliminate conflict with her. Like, her and I don't ever argue about anything. Like, as long as I clean up after myself and contribute to the household, which I do, we're fine. She don't bother me. I'm up in my room. I'm chilling. I'm an introvert anyway. I'm going to tell you now, if you live with me, you're probably never going to see me unless I'm going to work or coming in from work, because I like being in my room and being in my own space. Nothing personal. I'm just like that. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. Now, what are you particular about, and what would you and your friends fight about?
I've come to the conclusion that I'm the problem when it comes to roommate situations. I'm gonna be accountable on that one, and I'm gonna take the accountability. And I know that I'm self-aware because I love to have things done a certain type of way. And if they're not done a certain type of way, and I am a little bit of a neat freak, so I do get a little annoyed. I mean, that happened a lot growing up with my brother, where if he had like the toothpaste over on my side of the counter, I push it back over to where it should be. It's just those little ticks and icks. I don't know.
Give me some more examples of what you're particular about. I need to hear this.
Okay. So another time when I was an undergrad, we lived in almost like a apartment type dorm, right? I was with one friend, but the other two people that we lived with, they were not our friends, okay? So everyone had their own room, yes, but I'd be really annoyed anytime that it came to laundry. If I gotta just squeeze in a load of laundry, why do you have a month's worth just sitting in the wash machine?
I'll be damned.
2 weeks.
I'll be damned.
2 weeks.
Sour.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
All the due to the mill. Like,
yuck. Gotta watch that. Oh, just a quick tip, y'all. If that does happen to you, I don't know about 2 weeks, but if you get sour laundry, wash it with some white vinegar, you good to go.
Yeah.
But
so that would be so annoying. Or like something about, I had a roommate the same year. She would cook. But when she cooked, like, she made something where it was chocolate and avocado, and that avocado was smeared on the counter for weeks. I said,
I'll be damned.
Clean it up.
I'll be damned.
I was like, I'm not going to clean up after you because I'm not your mama, but clean it up.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, I had a roommate. I had a housemate. Let me say housemate. I'm not going to say roommate because we weren't in the same room. And I made that joke with my friends the other day. he didn't clean up.
No.
No, like when I say he didn't clean up, like you put dishes in the sink and you don't wash them ever. I'm talking like at one point I wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping, and I literally made sure I didn't have any dishes, and I just watched the dishes pile like to the point that they had mold on it. I'm like, yo, this dude really thinks that I'm just gonna clean up after him.
Like you're a maid. Like you're their mother.
Like he was just, I didn't get it, and then it's I don't know where that came from. That was probably one of the worst. Yeah, that was the worst. Everyone else that I lived with was cool. Shout out to my boy Colin. That's when we lived. We lived in a trailer park. Woo, rough times, boy.
I'll be damned.
Rough times in Orangeburg, South Carolina. But we was good, you know what I'm saying? He looked out for me when I was broke and barely had a job and couldn't pay my half of the rent. He never complained. Shout out to the lady in the leasing office for not evicting us when she could have. Probably should have. No, not should have. But I was working at GameStop at the time and trying to finish school, and GameStop had cut my hours because sales were down. I'm like, y'all in the college town during the summer, the kids are home. So they're like a big part of your pop, and Madden not coming out and 2K not coming out. Saying nobody needs to come in here and buy anything. So I was a problem there because I was broke. That's the thing. It's like we got to sit down and have a discussion about these house rules. Is my thing. Like that's the like it just can't like. And I think people automatically assume, oh, you grown, I'm grown, we should be good. No. We gotta have house rules. Yeah, we gotta have it in writing. And I am gonna have a lease in place, not just because I'm an asshole, but because like you need to know that you do have a certain amount of time and it can be extended, but I need to see the progress. And I ain't your mama and I ain't your daddy, but like if the goal is, hey, for instance, if we buy a house together or rent a house, like buying a house with a group of friends, that's a whole nother conversation. There's a lot of trust. There's you lot. Could do that. No, you could do that. Y'all could start an LLC, buy the house in the LLC name. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all all live there, and then y'all plan on the next house and say, all right, when we get this next house, this is what I would do. We buy a house, we live in it together, right? Let's say it's 3 of us. And the goal is to let's buy 4 houses. So we buy the next house and we rent it out. We save up, we buy the next house, we rent it out. And then when we buy that's 3, right? When we buy the 4th house, then everyone can move out and we'll all own the 4th house together. So you'll have a house, I'll have a house to live in on my own, and then we'll have a rental property and we can keep the business going. You know, and that's a sacrifice. That might take 4 or 5 years, depending on people's salaries, desires, lifestyle, life changes. But if you dedicate yourself to it, you can do it. And it's easier to do that with financially, it's easier to do that with a group of people because you're not bearing all the brunt of the cost. If someone falls short in their rent, and y'all got to cover the mortgage for the rental property, it's split 3-4 ways instead of, hey, they ain't paying, but your mortgage payment is due type deal. So, but even with the rental situation, it's the same thing. It's like, yo, what's your goal? All right, boom. How much money you need to save? How much you need to save? How much you need to save? All right, we all trying to buy a house. We renting this 4-bedroom spot or this 3-bedroom spot. We need to make sure we own it, and we need to at least, have like a family meeting and hold each other accountable. Because when it's time to go, it's time to go. Like that's how I am. Like when I got goals set in place, look, you out here saying you got goals, but you eating out, you going on trips, you doing all these things, and then when I meet my goal and you don't expect me to sacrifice another year because you was slacking off.
Or just take advantage where it's like, oh, I know they got me, Like I'll go like maybe this month I won't pay something. Like, yes, I think that's the tricky and like the slippery slope of like bringing personal into professional things, because it's like don't play with me like that, okay? We're friends, but don't put that on the line.
Yeah, that's the scary part, But I would say
have faith in your friends.
Like I said, from my perspective, I think I'll be more than likely this time next year, especially this time next year, this December, either by summer or early fall, I'll be in position to buy a house, right? And the only thing that would be preventing me from moving is job, right? I'll need a remote job or a job in a different city, or maybe my same job, just living in closer to it or in a different area, whatnot. But me personally, where I'm at, I would like to own my house and then just say, hey, you can come rent a room versus going, like, if I'm going into a situation where, like, hey, we gonna rent this together or buy this together, that's a very short list of people. I'm talking.
Yeah.
Right now, honestly, maybe 2 people.
The people you'd bail out of jail for.
Yeah, and I mean, one of them got his own place and he don't even live up here, so that wouldn't even be a thing. Another person is married and they have a house and they're fine. So, I mean,
here.
That's what the only thing that makes sense is if I rent out a room, maybe to, like, one of my young undergrad frat brothers is just coming out of college. Hey, come save some money, bruh. Don't go out there and get no $1,800 apartment. Come rent this room. You know what I'm saying?
Utilities not included.
Yeah.
1,800 utilities not included.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about having those conversations, but that's how we build and grow. And, shout out to you and your family. Shout out to my mom. Old traditions used to be, hey, when you're 18, you're out, or once you leave, you can't come back. But I mean, life happens, man. I promise y'all. I mean, those of you who've been following the show, I ain't expect to end up back here. Like, I haven't lived with my mom since 1996, 97. I moved, lived with my dad, finished middle school, high school with my dad, went to college. I would only come home during the summers, but I didn't live there. I was only there 2-3 months out of the year. And then when I was in college, I started renting a house. And then when I graduated, I lived with my aunt and uncle. Then I got my own place, and I had my own spots from 2010 all the way up until now. And then, life happened to me. And now I'm back here. But that's another reason why you don't burn bridges. Yeah, it is, not 20, quite 20 years. 15 years later, whatever. Math sucks. 18 years later, back here, Mom welcomed me with open arms because she knows my habits and she knows me and she knows I'm going to take care of business. She ain't even here right now. She out of town right now. She was like, all right, take care of the house. Bye.
Oh.
Like, yeah, it's like that. You know what I'm saying? But I respect her house. Like, I don't bring people over here and stuff like that unless I let her know, which none of my friends are here anyway. They all moved. So I don't really have any friends in the cities. There's nobody to bring over. But just stuff like that. Like, knowing that you have a place to fall back on, like in the back of your mind, not like, hey, I'm gonna run out here and do this dumbass thing because I know I can always come back here. Not in that sense, but like, stuff is getting kind of rough out here. I need to hit the reset button. I want to be able to do that for other people too. And when and if I have a family, I want to be able to do that to them and not shame them or make them feel bad, because some people will suffer in silence. I feel bad when I hear stories about people like Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, who slept in their car and had to wash up in bathrooms or hotels. Like, they really went through it. And just imagine if they had that family member or that friend to say, hey, you can stay with me. You know what I mean? I got you. But we're so, I'm a boss, I'm on my own. People are ashamed and afraid to ask for help. And that's very different from you doing the wrong thing and not holding up your end of the bargain and getting kicked out versus, dang, I ain't do nothing. I'm a good person. I'm just out here trying to make it. But, I don't have no one to look out for me. So I think that helps. And I don't think anyone should be shamed for that. Like, everyone doesn't have a clear path. Everyone doesn't have, a big, bright, shining career paying them all this money. Like, I'm an education major. Like, there's no money in education, really. Like, unless you have 2 jobs or unless you move up to be a principal, which that's not fun. You like working with the kids. Yeah. It ain't. Like, everyone gets in that. Most people get an education to work with the kids. That's the fun part. So, yeah, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Exactly. I like having a fail safe. I'm not going to use it and take advantage of it with knowing that I can always come back to my parents when things get rough or anything like that. But definitely, like you said, reset button. When they try to raise my rent all crazy and Sally Mae came knocking on my door, I said, hold up. I said, what's getting paid this month? What's not? But
oh, Lord.
But definitely just to reset and regroup and to start thinking of where I want to be in the next year. So being able to come home and not worry about that, like not worry about rent, basically, not worry about, oh, I have car problems, my dad can help me with the car problems. Like certain things, like you have like, and I guess that's also where the whole, it takes a village and community too.
Yep.
Because I didn't expect to like graduate school, come home. I was like, I'm gonna be home for like maybe 3 months, get my own place, boom, gone. No, I left, and then I came right on back with a dog with his tail between its legs and everything. Like, dang. But it's not even to make yourself or have anyone feel as if they're like a failure or anything like that. It's just a regroup, and you just need to sit down and pause and just rethink where you want to be in the next couple of years. That just take this as a stepping stone, and just don't be too harsh on yourself with it.
Yeah. That's my word. That's very true, man. And yeah, you just actually gave me something else to think about, because this is the other benefit to having people that you can stay with temporarily. Not only just saving the money, but like when you're moving to a new city, like you don't know what side of town is a good side, the bad side. Like you don't know, and it sucks to be locked into a lease and paying all this money for rent. And so when you do decide to move, you may be like, dang, I want to live on that side of town. But at the rate that I'm making money, at the rate that I'm getting a raise, it's going to take me 3 years in this apartment to get that. Whereas if you stay with a friend who maybe cuts you a break and charges you half as much, you can probably do that in half the time or less. But again, you know, you just gotta have people with the right mindset, and also you can't be a bad housemate. Like you can't. You may have to tip. You may have to tiptoe a little bit. Like that's one thing that's to my benefit is like people used to tell me, "Dang, yo, you always be in your room," and I'm like, "Yo, that's how I am now." Like I said earlier, my mom ain't even in town, but I'm probably not gonna come downstairs unless I need to get something to eat. Like nothing will be used downstairs except for the microwave, the oven, and the refrigerator. Like, that's just, I've always been like that. Even when I had my own place before this, I was either just sitting in the living room or just being in my room chilling. I don't know what's up with me with that. I just like that. But I like being out of the way, you know, especially if I'm in someone's house. I like to make them feel like this is your house and I'm going to be out of your way. And if you need something, I got you. But if you're one of those people out there, man, trying to figure out life, I will say this. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid to ask for that kind of help. If you need to hit the reset button, hit the reset button, yo. I'm telling you, like, a year of just taking a step back, forget what people have to say, forget what people think, just taking a step back, being able to save that money, and then go out there and attack it again is way, way, way better than, to me, than going through a daily struggle, as the old people say, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Because if you live in paycheck to paycheck, but hey, I got my own apartment, I got my own this and that.
You house poor.
Right, you're... Where's my... God damn it.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
You're house poor. And when I used to sell real estate, that's one thing we used to tell clients. You do not want to be house poor. You don't want to have this big, beautiful new house, but you can't do anything every month, and you can't fill it with the furniture that you want to fill it with because you got $25. Because your job ain't like, unless you get like a major promotion, your 9 to 5 ain't going, they don't promote you like that. You're not gonna get a big bonus like that. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that topic, man. You got anything else before we move on?
Just pick your battles. I'll say that. Just pick your battles, and that's with anything.
Yeah.
If you're with roommates, pick the battles. Don't be trying to fight, get a temper about every single thing that someone does. Just pick the battles. Same thing if you're moving back home, pick the battles. And also, regardless, just think about the future you and if your finances would be farther ahead than they are now, depending on what you did, if you just hit a reset. That's all I got.
She right. I'm going to speak to the point of picking my battles. Know who you're living with. Like I said, staying with my mom. I pay rent. And I bring in groceries. I probably, what do I spend on groceries a month? $250, somewhere like that. basically like whatever we need from the grocery store I get. And she didn't have to ask. I'm like, this is my contribution to the household. Wash dishes, do little stuff around the house or whatnot. Like, you got to fulfill a role, and you have to show each other that I am especially if it's not mutual, if you're living with someone, you got to show them that I am a benefit and an asset around here.
Yeah.
Even the inconvenience of someone else is in my house, so I can't 100% do what I want to do. But if they're paying you rent, they bringing in groceries, they doing stuff, then that eases that. So it's a balance thing. And stop leaning on these titles. Oh, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's my brother, that's my cousin, that's my best friend. All of those still come with obligations. Those titles, those people, once you have those titles, people do things to earn these titles. You know what I'm saying? There are traits and characteristics that go along with these titles. Just having the title, but you're doing none of the actions of that title. Nah. All right. Next topic. This is a serious topic. I've actually given this a lot of thought. Would you consider living in another country? This came to mind for me because when Trump first got elected, that was the first time I really thought, what the hell is happening in the world? And I've been reflecting over the last week, and I know that the news and social media are snippets, and they don't necessarily represent the majority, but you see a lot of things that actually do exist. You might not be able to quantify it, but you see a lot of crazy stuff like just hate groups, war, crime. Like, real life is starting to look like the stuff we saw that in movies when I was growing up. Like riots in the street. Like, some of the stuff I've seen over the last 5 years, I never thought I would see, especially in the U.S. in my life. And it's like there's a big open wound and no one knows how to heal it. And then you start seeing, what I've also been seeing is exposure to more cultures. And other cultures kind of looking at the U.S. like, ooh, like, what y'all doing over there? Like, ugh. Like the kid in the back of the room picking his boogers. But his parents rich, so he gets whatever he wants most of the time. Anyway, it's weird, right?
And his name Bartholomew.
What's wrong with you, yo?
I'll be damned.
Maybe his name is Bartholomew. But it made me consider or think about leaving and living in another country for a while. Just to hit the reset button and decompress. Because you can only do that so much, because the ratchetness and the craziness of the world, and not the world, of the U.S. does get to you sometimes. You're going to see it. You're going to be exposed to it. Someone's going to talk about it. It's going to be on your timeline. It's going to be on the news. There's going to be a parody about it or something. And it made me consider it. I'll go into further detail, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Have you ever felt like, I mean, you're younger than me, so your perspective would be very interesting.
Yeah. So this is something that I used to teeter on the fence about a lot, especially when I was in undergrad, and especially when I was thinking about doing study abroad, because while you see a lot of stuff, especially back when Trump was elected and I was in high school, and it felt like we just opened the doors to, I have no idea what.
Hell.
And yeah, and every like race, everything about race was brought, everything was an attack. Like, it was just so much going on, and so much hate crimes were just happening 24/7. And I just felt like there's no way. I was like, I need to get out of this country at some point. But then I sat there and thought about it when I was in undergrad, and I was just like, where would I go? Where would I go? Because I'm like, no matter where I went, I'd still be feeling some type of, there is no escape to racism. There is no escape to it, truly. So it's like, not only that, but then I felt kind of like stuck in the sense too, because then I felt like, well, I'm also a woman, and there's a lot of violence against women. I was like, so there's no place really for me to go where I would feel 100% content unless I'm on an island by myself. It felt like there was no escape.
I'll be damned.
So it kind of felt like you're like pushed into a corner where it's like, should I just basically be or stay in the area where I know the enemy, essentially, type of thing. Not enemy, I know that sounds terrible, but like the one that you know the most. I'd
Damn,
rather just stay
you're damned
with
if you do,
them.
damned if you don't.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
That is serious. Well, this whole podcast has actually been serious, but um, what Erica just pointed out is one of the reasons why, and I had an episode called "Shut the F Up and Listen." It's why you shut up and listen, especially to women. The struggle and fears that women have on a daily basis are vastly different from the ones that a man has. And she's right. There are some countries where just
You have like no rights.
yeah, they're like the traditions and the laws. Like, good luck being a woman over there. Like, arranged marriages and all that kind of stuff, right? I never thought about it. Shit, you might be better off here. As a man,
Yeah.
I don't really have, then that's like the other thing is adapting to the culture. Like, I'd have to now, okay, let me say this the right way. Legally, I like guns. You know what I'm saying? I like to shoot guns. I like to go to the range. I can't take none of that stuff with me. You know what I'm saying? Gun laws are very strict overseas. So that's something I do for entertainment, right? And protection. That's gone. I'm a gamer. I game with specific friends in the U.S. Time zone changes. That's gone. You know what I'm saying? So part of my community and the people that I'm the closest with are gone. You basically have to rebuild an entirely new life. And I got a frat brother since college. Shout out to my boy Peter Commodore. He teaches abroad. He's always taught abroad, and I just look at his social media, and he has his community, and he teaches all over the world, and has seen some amazing things. And I'm like, yo, that's dope. But he's just always done that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he's done it since he graduated. Like, that was it. I don't think he's ever been back stateside unless he's just visiting. And I was like, man, that'd be dope to do for a couple years. But I have to put myself in the mindset. And honestly, I don't have anyone keeping me here. I don't have a wife. I don't have a kids. There's nothing keeping me here or preventing me from doing that. So it's never really been off the table for me. But I'm like, that's a big adjustment. Yeah. And I don't want to say there's fear there, but there's a lot of the unknown that I just need to really stop and look at. Well, one thing now, sorry, not a shameless plug. My boy Carl Van, Pass the Peas app. I am passionate about Pass the Peas app. I am. That is dope. It's fun. It's the only recipe app where you can upload video steps and create collaborative cookbooks. Check the link in the description. I could still help with that overseas. I don't have a physical presence when it comes to that, really. But that's like one of the big things that's over there. Then, I mean, you too, what would our podcast schedule look like?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Will we record separately?
We'd probably have to record like on weekends or something like that. I mean, depending on where I go, I'm going to be hours behind you. So
do all-nighters.
Right. You know what I'm saying? There's just so many things to think about, but you are going to have challenges no matter where you go in the world. That is very true.
Yeah.
And I think if I had to choose a fear or something that I was apprehensive about, and I don't foresee this happening because I'm not a troublemaker, but getting arrested in another country...
Yes.
Yo, that has to be like the scariest thing ever because you don't speak the language. Oh, excuse me. Depending on where you go, you don't speak the language. You don't know. You got to know the laws. Like that's the one thing. Like you got to learn so much, and they do snatch up Americans.
Yes, especially because. Just gonna say we do not have the best reputation at all.
No, we don't
at all.
We don't.
So you're automatically gonna be looked at for being American in a sense. Which, hey, I know country did some dirt. I get it, but there's been so many stories of people, Americans in different countries, and there was one in particular where this guy he took down a poster and then he was arrested. And the entire time that he was arrested overseas, his parents and everybody was trying to get him back over to the country. And he ended up passing away. Wow. Basically, after he came back from the country, like after being released for like a year or something like that. It's just too much. And also, like, the laws are so different overseas, and just make sure that if you go overseas and you decide to live there or visit, make sure you know the laws. You
Yeah.
don't want to go over there and break a law and not realizing that you broke a law and now you're in jail.
Yeah, and be the to extend what you just said, know the punishments.
Yes,
Like some places,
they don't play.
yeah, they don't play. Like I don't know if they still doing Hassan Chop, but some places might still be doing that. So that's something you need to definitely think about. But you know, it is a chance at a new start and to do things differently and to see life differently. There's a lot of beautiful things that you will see and experience, and foods, the tastes, and cultures that you can become a part of by not living here. But I mean, you know, I brought this topic up because just looking at the U.S., man, it's scary, man. I don't like what I'm seeing, especially in politics. I think,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the masses are influenced by what they see on social media by people who are not the majority, and they base very, 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 very important decisions on that. Dang it, I forgot her name. Hold on, I gotta find her name. Um, what's her name? Man, I
You
was just
said it like the dude from that Beyonce clip. And she's like, and what's my name? Beyonce, say my name. I had to send you the clip.
what happened?
I had to send you the
Oh,
clip. It is hilarious.
Representative Jasmine Crockett. She was talking about how in politics, Trump is a master of propaganda. He takes pictures with the right people at the right time in the right places, and he posts it. And the perception is he's doing all these things with these people, and he's so great. And the Democrats don't do that. Democrats just do the work, and then they don't post or talk about it. They don't sensationalize it, right? But unfortunately, the common person is not going to sit, open their computer or their phone, and do the research to see what people are actually doing. It's easier for them to consume a post on Facebook or Instagram or on the news that say, hey, such and such took a picture of this person. This is what they're doing with these schools. Boom. That's how they get their information. That's how they base a vote or whatnot. But what she exposed was Kamala Harris and President Biden have given more money to HBCUs than Trump. But that's one of the things Trump runs off of. And what happens is people don't understand this. Politics happen in waves. The impact of what you do while you're in office doesn't really hit until that next president comes. A lot of presidents, sitting presidents, unless you have 2 terms, you're signing bills and pushing things through that the last president started. So a lot of them take credit for someone else's idea and even some of their acts. You know, some things may just be renewals, and they're like, "Oh, you know, I put this into place." Well, no, it was in place already. You're just signing a renewal, but they spin it to make it look like they're doing more work than they actually are. But a lot of people don't understand that nuance in politics. But that's what scares me. Is like people don't want to get up and do the research and actually do the work. They'll see a post on social media and think someone's evil, bad, this, that, and the third, and they don't listen to interviews. They don't engage in anything intellectual to back up what they see. Because when I see stuff, I'm like, let me do a search. Let me do some reading. Because if this is going to impact me and my finances, I need to look this up. And I mean, some people you can just tell are lying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, really? So that's what scares me. It's like, yo, y'all voting for people like it's a damn joke. These are the decision makers for the entire country. And some of them act like damn high school idiots. Not calling high school students idiots, but they act like the doofuses. They act like doofuses, like in class clowns. And it's like, yo, people's jobs and lives are out here being impacted. And y'all ain't here fighting like children. Like, help me understand.
You saw it. You saw those clips.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, stand your boat up then.
I'm just like, yo, is this really happening? Like, is people
Yeah.
starving out here? Is people
To do like the post interviews after where he was like, well, he was coming at me. He was trying to be a social media bully. And it's like, you are a grown man at the end of the day at your place of work wanting to fight.
privilege? These
Media
people,
literacy is at an all-time low.
it's ridiculous, man. But comment out there if you're out there and you live in another country, you lived in another country. Hit us up from my experience podcast in the group, or send us a DM. You know, I would like for you to share your experience. Holla at us on here. We've had people from other countries. There's a brother on here who's a blurred. That's a black nerd. I think he's in Korea.
Yeah.
He was on here, I think last year. Had my boy Sage Sensei up on here. I went to high school with him. He travels to a lot of countries, and he talked about some of his experiences. Dr. Ashley Dash, she's out of the country. She's been out of the country for like the last 5 years, I think. So she's talked about her experiences. So I know people that do it, but I want some more experiences on here, and I want to share. I want some more of those people to share their experiences. I'm interested. That's not totally out of the question for me, and that's one of the questions I ask the people I date. I'm like, would you be willing to live in another country for a year or two?
Mm-hmm.
Would you?
Yes, only because now my aunt, she's been living out of the country for maybe three going on 4 years now with her husband and their kids. So she's had a great time living overseas. So she's probably been the main reason why my answer has kind of changed a little bit. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You got anything?
She loves it.
Where's she at?
She's in the UK. I don't know exactly where, but she's in the UK. They had to go out there for my uncle's job. And she's been there. It was supposed to be 5 years, but they've been there for almost 4 years now. And she loves it. So
I can imagine.
It's kind of swindled me, and I'm like, maybe I do need to go run on to the office and get a passport.
You got a pass? You ain't got a passport?
No.
Let me highlight my brothers. Ericca doesn't have a passport, so passport bros, there you go. Why
let me catch straight?
Nah, for real. My good strong brothers, this is what I want to say to you, man. As someone who has had housemates, as someone who has had to give up being on his own to live with someone else, do not be ashamed. Do not be too proud to ask someone to help you get back on your feet. And even better yet, if you're in college, I don't know if college kids listen to this, but if you're in college or you have a kid in college or a cousin or a family member, ask them, hey, do you got a homie, frat brother, homeboy, homegirl that you're really cool with and y'all know what y'all want to do after graduating or you're going to be in the same city? Talk to them about possibly living together. You know what I'm saying? And saving that money to get that fresh start, like a really strong head start. Because when you graduate college and you enter in the job field, a lot of stuff can happen. You know, you may be unhappy in that place. You might not like the job. And it's easier to pivot when you don't have as much of a financial burden. But I want y'all to spread that word out there. And I also want you to consider that yourself, man. Maybe you're someone like me who's had to hit the reset button later on in life. And you're just looking at different ideas and different things. Like, I wouldn't mind living with someone else with the right mindset and the right understanding that, hey, this is temporary and we are building towards a goal. This ain't supposed to be forever. Now, if you want to live with somebody forever, that's your business too. I mean, shoot, you can save money forever. You know, if you get along with someone like that. Me, the goal is definitely my own spot. But yo, if we can build together, we can get along, save this money, or possibly invest together, whatever. I'm down for it as long as you gonna do your part. And oh, what you about to say?
No, I just said hello in agreement. Hello.
I'll be damned.
And that's all we have for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Ooh, this thing got me sounding. I don't know why my music is so loud. That's all we got for y'all, man. This was a refreshing episode. I've been going through some life things, and I needed to get that off my chest. And I feel better now that it's off my chest. And now I'm playing with glass.
Oh.
Sorry. Yeah. Don't forget to follow us, FME_podcast. From My Experience Podcast on Facebook, FMEpodcast.com. Don't follow Ericca because she don't be on social media.
Yeah, that's fair.
Exactly. You don't. And yeah, y'all take care. Y'all be good. Yeah, take care of yourselves physically, mentally, financially. We catch y'all next time. Peace out.